We're here live at CES in Las Vegas, and I am thrilled to be joined by a return guest here at the Speed of Culture podcast. Angie Klein is the SVP of Consumer Growth, Marketing, and Content at Verizon. She's working on some amazing things with a brand that has really made huge waves with the consumer over the last couple of years. I'm just so happy to have you back, Angie. So great to see you.
It's so great to be back.
Absolutely. So tell me what CES means for Verizon here in 2025.
Yeah, so CES is always a place. I'd say we look at it as a great place to get with all of our partners, primarily. Also get a little inspired about what's on the floor.
Yeah.
Not that a lot of us get to spend a lot of time on the floor
I know.
because there's such a great opportunity to meet with everyone that's just here. And in my role, which I have, at Verizon now, our value props, our pricing. I also have our promotions. So I get to deal with, manage with all of our OEM partners. So I get to meet with all of them while they're here. And then as the chief content officer, a lot of our content partners are here. So it's just a great place and a great time to get together to really set the course for 2025, right as we're starting the year.
Yeah.
And get a little inspired about what the potential is with all the technology to come.
Yeah. So let's unpack that. So when you say, as Chief Content Officer, you are overseeing the content partnerships.
Yeah.
What do content partnerships at Verizon look like?
Okay, well, there's a few things. So we're probably the largest direct-to-consumer relationship in the U.S. If you think about how many customers that we have.
Yeah.
And we've really built our value props around providing that differentiation. So on one side, in our Fios business, we have Fios TV.
Yeah.
So we're a traditional linear TV partner. But then with our perks, with My Plan, and then last year we launched My Home, we provide this hugely differentiated savings and value with all these SVOD services. And we allow customers to really customize their plans. It's a really unique differentiated feature that only really Verizon can provide. So, we have a bundle of Netflix and Max for $10 a month. We have the Disney bundle for just $10 a month. We have YouTube Premium for $10 a month.
And you bundle
Apple
those
One.
in with your subscriptions.
And
right.
with any plan you get to choose what you want, and you're going to save on everyone and save substantially. And
I should do that. I'm a Verizon customer. I feel like I pay for a
100%.
lot of those things separately.
Yeah,
It's so hard for the consumer to know. There's just so much out there. And even for somebody like me who's savvy in this stuff, I just wouldn't think about it. And for all I know, maybe I'm paying for both. Like I'm not even sure, but there's just a lot of choice with the consumer now.
Yeah, and we make it easy to bring it all together. So it's an easy way for a customer to look.
Right.
With all of the most popular services, and then of course we have our own services too that we provide. Just instead of saying, "Hey, we're going to pre-choose what goes into your plan for you," we have kind of a entry tier plan on our mobile side that it has most of the basics, all the way up to our ultimate plan that gives you unlimited international. It gives massive amounts of hotspot, all that.
That's what I have.
But in all of these plans, you can choose the perks that are right for you and your family. So you pay for what you want and not for what you don't.
And you essentially are just getting a login. Just normally, you guys are a reseller.
Yeah. And in the way that we do it, we make it easy for the partner. So I look at it as a win-win-win. It's a win for the consumer because they're going to get these products that have a clear value in the market at a price better from us. It's a win for our partners because, our cost of acquisition and how we market and talk to our customers because of our great relationships we have every day with 80 million customers. And it's a win for us because we're looking at, this is a revenue opportunity for us, in a way that customers can be more differentiated than any of our competitors out there because we provide breadth of choice.
And it's getting them more value out of your services.
100%. And value for money. The Verizon is, I think we provide more value for what you pay for your wireless service than any other carrier out there, hands down. And a lot of that's, beyond just our network, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's that you can save more on the things that you love, and we provide all these additional features and benefits that are just unmatched. They're unmatched right now in the market.
So when you think of the different packages and how you're kind of piecing them together, I imagine you first start looking at your overall customer base and go through kind of a segmentation approach, and then you try to match plan. Is that kind of because how do you know how many packages to come up with, not being too confusing, who the buyer is, how to price them, et cetera?
Yeah. And I've been lucky enough to be a part of Verizon for so long that, when I last talked to you, I was leading our value organization, which when you talk about segmentation, we even have brands and distribution that are really centered on specific customers. In the postpaid world in Verizon, it's our largest, right? And, we serve over a third of the market, specifically with just postpaid. That's a very diverse market. And when we've created plans in the past from our original mix and match that I created back in the day, we did look at segmentation with specific plans, specific features in them. What we've realized is you were always still having paradox of choice can happen. And if we were bundling too much stuff in, you ended up kind of saying, hey, we have to go like with plan A that has this feature, and we're going to try to hit this segment. What we've done now with my plan is allowed a lot more personalization and allowing us to really go out to a much broader segment. So if you are single, but you're going to have like Netflix and Max, and maybe the Disney bundle for you could be great because it's got Hulu in it, right? But there's different choices for everybody, and I think that's to me what's so exciting about what we've created. And then last year, mid-year, we actually expanded this to My Home, and so we launched our home plans, which is becoming a much bigger part of our business.
Yeah,
And we had FiOS internet, and now with fixed wireless, with our 5G rollout continuing to get bigger. And I love that if you look at the industry, telcos are taking all of the net ads, in broadband, and that's just a major growth area, and we're going to double down there. But we've brought these kind of two things together now that say, for your home, and we provide YouTube TV or FiOS TV. We have different choices, again, for everybody, no matter who you are. And we don't force fit anything. We don't force fit bundles in our home packages either. Like you don't have to take TV and internet. Like, you can choose just internet. In fact, a lot of our customers just choose internet. And if they want a traditional linear TV, we've got that as an option. They want all these SVODs at better deals than they can get anywhere else. We got those as options. So I love it. And we're going to double down in mobile plus home this year and really
to bundle them together.
Yeah, and to provide better value. And again, not even forcing bundling, but when you have more, you unlock more.
Yeah, of course.
And now that we have perks on both sides, you'll see us like lean into how that can.
And I would imagine, because like I live in New York City, and the building that I live in doesn't allow me to get Verizon internet. The building. Well,
let's talk to the owners.
Well, right, exactly. Yeah, we'll do that afterwards. But the building, that's how it works in New York, right?
For sure.
But that's because they have the wires coming in.
Yeah.
But with the fixed home internet, then that doesn't matter anymore, right? You're tapping into 5G directly.
Yeah.
And then you just use the box, you just turn it on.
Yeah. And there's still like some technology like into certain buildings, depending on the infrastructure, that we might have a solution that we still work with the building to make it work. Like I'm lucky.
A lot more distribution.
They have a lot more, we have a lot more capability with that.
Right.
And by the way, it's wireless, it's exciting, and it's been great. In my house in Denver, I have our ultra wideband home, and I love it. I'm also lucky, and I have a little place in New York, and I get FiOS there, so I get the benefit of that. I mean, you're never going to beat that direct fiber connection, and that's one of the reasons that we're expanding our fiber footprint, both organically and, of course, with our acquisition of Frontier, just to really look at that fiber footprint. But I think we've got the best of both. We've got this great entry kind of broadband that we can serve really broadly across the country. We're becoming a very formidable, like, nationwide player in broadband, and that's exciting, based on our mobile footprint being what it is too.
So, how much of the country still actually has cable wires, coaxial cables, and cable boxes running into their home? And when are we going to reach a point where everything's going to be just streamed in the household?
Well, I mean, I think, whether it's coax or fiber or some of those, like, those direct connections still have massive appeal and massive, like, the kind of the capability can be there, which is why I believe heavily in our fiber rollout. And,
but the fiber, you're still streaming, right? I guess you're hardwired.
You're hardwired, and then you're going to Wi-Fi off the router there, and that's the same as kind of cable. But the capabilities of fiber are more limitless.
Yeah, I love it.
And on the wireless side, that's a way to get fast. And there's a lot, and it's good, and it's quality, and it's probably a little bit more of a price point that's attainable. So there's a little bit of a balance between those two. Like, you might have multiple gig services and speeds in one side, but you've got a really great product in another. So it all depends on where you are and what your choices are. And choice, I think, is good. But for me, it's how do we compete as Verizon and provide these unique value props and really provide choice for a lot of customers in a lot of areas of the country. They haven't had a whole lot of choice in broadband.
So it sounds like you have a wide-ranging product and flexibility and customization for the customer. Obviously, then it's up to communicating that to the customers, both your existing ones, you can sell into more services, and getting new ads and new people into the franchise. What are the most effective channels at you in driving that growth on Verizon?
I think what we've learned over time, so, we're very good at marketing, and, we have a lot of sports sponsorships. We're going to see, Verizon is never going to be quiet with our media and our messaging. And, with Leslie and her team, CMO, like the way that we just redid our brand. And, we're really focused, if you think about what our brand stands for now, we power and empower the way people live, work, and play. And you see that come through the life of our brand. So when you think about channels and marketing, I mean, people's lives are more spent on digital. And I think so much more of where we're going is kind of the creator, the influencer telling these stories. We've got products and services that I think are better told through creators. So when you think about like Verizon Family, our credit card, which is unbelievable. It's got it's like 4% back on gas, groceries, dining out, which are basically where I spend most of my money. And then and you also get $10 off every line on your bill when you use your Verizon credit card. It's actually a very strong one. And where does that work marketing wise to tell our story? Probably less in a TV ad over time, more in like a true, like, where are you going to go to find out about that? People that really know and they're comparing. And so you'll see us talk with more creators and influencers, I think more and over time, but also just more in digital and telling the story. The other part is all of our stores. We have what, 7,000 stores across the country.
They still matters was my question.
They hugely matter. More like we have gotten even better at stores. And the more we go local in our communities, which is, we are a big, big company.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we operate as a local community player. We're there when things go right. We're there when things go wrong. We want to be there in these local communities. And we've been focusing, Sampath has made a big focus, our CEO of Consumer, about getting back to local. And he's really invested in our local teams, our local marketing, our local feet on the ground, and of course, our technicians and everybody that's there anyway, that do such a great job representing our brand. That's what we want. And our local stores are where that really comes to life. It's the human interactions. So what we need to do from like the corporate side is make everything easier for our reps. So then the delightful experiences every customer has when they come in, because the more that we can use AI to predict why you might be coming in or why you might have a question, or actually get rid of those things before you even know you have the question. So then the reason that you're coming in is just experiences to learn what might be available to
Touch
you.
and feel the devices.
Yeah. Like there's so much more now available. Like when you think about, I was skiing over the holidays. We were taking a picture on the slopes. I had my Google Pixel. I was telling the Google team this, and I had my Pixel out. We took a picture of my family, my cousin's kids. He was so excited. My Pixel fold, I could open it up.
People love that.
And and it was the AI. I took the picture, and then it immediately came up to say, do you want to erase these extra people in the background? And I was like, boop, boop, boop.
Off you go.
And now it looks like this. We're the only people on the mountain in this pristine picture.
Amazing?
Yeah. It's fantastic. And it looks great. And my cousin's kid was so impressed by it. And I was like, well, you should get yourself a new phone with all these AI capabilities. It just makes it wasn't hard to do.
Right.
And as these technologies come forward,
people don't understand how easy it is. Yeah.
And it's gonna change everything on how we do everything. And it's gonna make things easier for people. And if we focus on AI to make life easier and more delightful, what a great use of technology.
Yeah. In a way that doesn't have big consumer adoption hurdles.
Yeah.
Like you don't want consumers to have to figure out some hard to understand technology. You just want it to be one button. You're getting rid of those extra people and it's working. And if you can prove the value of that, then they're going to connect the magic of AI to the magic of Verizon.
Now, the only thing about this AI that I didn't like at first is the first time it asked to erase me. And I was like, no, I should stay.
Right.
I was worthy. My cousin was like, no, maybe you should. No.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right?
I'm like, I look good in that picture. Leave me.
How are you using AI personally on a day-to-day basis related to your job?
Yeah. One of the things that I think about AI, I am good at editing. Like when I starting with a blank sheet of paper, even though I'm generally pretty creative, I find my creative juices flow when I have something to build off of.
When the plane's off the runway.
A little bit, yeah. And that's where I think AI gets me started. I end up like saying, hey, I want to write a note to my team on something. I change 90% of it after AI, but my creative juices flow because of it. And I think that...
so that you'll start to write something and then you'll start to use AI.
Yeah, I'll use AI to start something and then I go edit it. And I'm like, my ability to edit is better. And I think if you know your own strengths, I know that. Like, it'll take me a while to do something in innovation for myself. But if I can edit from something, like it gets my juices flowing. And the AI can trigger thoughts for me.
Yeah.
And so I use, like in terms of the writing stuff of that, I mean, just generally, there's a lot of areas in our work that we think about how does AI help our front lines? Like that's a place where I'm like, how do we make these processes easier for consumers that they don't have to wade through stuff? And I think about, I used to run our call centers back in the day. I've been in Verizon a long time. I had a lot of jobs. And the job aids that our reps used to have to wade through when there was a question that may not come up very often.
Right.
Was pretty intense. And two things. Number one, it helps the reps immediately get to the right answer,
instantly, right?
but also it helps the customer not have to be on the phone or in the
Yeah,
store.
it increases customer satisfaction.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I got the right answer faster versus like just simplicity of life. It's so much better. I'm like, how great is this?
Yeah.
It's great.
A lot of companies that manufacture mobile devices are now starting to build AI compute capabilities into the device
Yes.
because there's so much compute power and it's like almost like too much for the
The
cloud,
cloud.
right?
Yeah.
And we were talking today with the folks from Lenovo who are building it into their laptops, and you're hearing it really everywhere. How do you think the actual cell phone experience, the mobile device, and how people are going to use it is going to change with this? Because it's just, if that happens, you have a much more powerful device in your hand,
Oh, yeah.
leveraging the compute power on the device and your network to unlock completely new things.
Yeah. And I think, well, I mean, every one of these devices over time gets more and more powerful
Yeah.
with what the chipsets and capabilities are. And so having some like just native on the device is good. With a 5G network or ultra wideband network, like I have no worries about the cloud capability and the
Right.
edge cloud, like, edge compute and all that stuff either. I don't. I think that the technologies are coming together to just
They
provide
are.
these experiences that are going to just unlock next level. I think like just the simplicity of ease of use of everything. It's not, we were talking with some about like, just like order my coffee and it knows what I order in whatever app I'm in. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, I don't
Yeah.
even have to like functionally
Or
go
even
into the
with
app.
Siri and Alexa and all these voice
Yeah.
platforms working better
Yeah.
and allowing people to trust the use of voice, I think is going to be a big positive impact on the consumer in a year ahead.
Yeah. And just the predictiveness of it, like it's going to learn your rhythms when you're, driving, to the office one day, but you typically stop at your local Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's going to know that and say, you want me to go ahead and place your order? And like, I didn't have to think about it or remember it. It was doing it for me. Like, you might just confirm really easily. How great would that? It's just going to be predictively helpful.
Yeah.
It won't get everything right. It'll learn over time, and that's just like anything. But my God, it's already fascinating
It is.
what it can do. And I think about every other conversation I have about AI now. And 2 years ago, we didn't talk about AI at all. Like it's just fascinating
How quickly.
and
And
how
how
different.
quickly, and now how quickly it's going to move.
Yeah, and the people
Yeah.
that don't have these devices yet, like in terms of the upgrade cycles, people are holding onto their devices longer.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
It's like your next, your friend sitting next to you that is doing something on their phone. It's going to be quite interesting to see. Like, wait a minute, I didn't realize mine now looks pretty dated. Like I can
Right.
get all these features and these functions that I didn't realize I could have. And I said, so for Verizon, like, one of our goals is to be the world's best applied AI. And that's really in how we support our customers and our front lines and everything that we do that just makes being a customer of ours easier and better. In some ways, it should be fairly transparent. Where our partners with all of our OEMs and what they're doing on the devices makes it our customers' lives even easier. So I think it's all coming together in this beautiful way.
It also can help with your home products too, right?
Sure.
How do I set up my Wi-Fi? What's my all those things? AI can obviously make consumers' lives easier
Yeah.
in managing their home networks as
And
well.
just even realizing how much you have connected. I don't think people
Yeah.
have any idea, like the 60 devices now that are all connected to their network. And,
Yeah.
when you think about, your lights over the holidays and it's telling you what do you want to,
Smart
hey,
home.
the sun's going down earlier. Do you want to have your Christmas lights on? Or, like there's just so many ways that it can help you manage your life, your household, your latchkey children if you have them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like, and I'm hearing a lot of this here at CES, that this could drive a whole new buying cycle. Where in the past, even looking like the iPhone and a lot of the companies is like, well, am I really just going to spend more money just for slightly better battery, slightly better phone? But now it seems there's a reason all over again for people to really say, oh, I want to switch, I want to upgrade, I might want to switch carriers. So it sounds like it could create a big opportunity of growth if you can execute it the right way.
Yeah, and I mean, look, as customers are generally loving what they have on their phone, and a lot of the AI features are coming into like N minus as well. It's
Yeah.
not just the latest.
Yeah.
So in some ways, some of them will have that, but over time, if you're holding on to a phone that's 5, 7 years old, which some people still are, I'd say it's high time to upgrade. Where you're going to really unlock this next level of capabilities. And if you're going to upgrade, you should do it on the best network out there, and that's Verizon.
Yeah. So shifting gears a little bit, as we wrap up here, I know that you really focus a lot on your leadership style and your ability to build a team and surround yourself with great people. And I would just love to hear some of your learnings in terms of what's worked throughout your career
Yeah.
at building teams that are built for success at
Yeah.
a company like Verizon.
I think one of the things I talked to you about last time, and
Yeah,
it's like I
remember.
harken back to my three eyes.
Mhm.
That you have to be inquisitive. Like to me, like I want people on my team. I want to lead this way that we're always interested in what's next, what's the art of the possible, what could we be doing that we're not doing, and then how do we stand out? So, being just students of the industry, being students of the technology, being students of marketing, and how do you like reach customers in different ways and being authentic is really, that's my first eye, is being inquisitive. Being intentional is my second. I'm intentional with where I spend my time, who I'm spending it with, who I'm talking to. And that's not always easy because your calendars, as your jobs get bigger, get a little
Yep.
out of your control. I think Hans Vestberg, our CEO, does an amazing job at this. He tracks every like minute of his days and like where he spends time and makes sure that he's allocating it accordingly to
For
where
what
he
matters
knows.
most.
Yeah. So whether that's our, stakeholders, our employees, with strategic alignment, like I think he does it differently than I do, but I think like just being intentional is a really important part of it. And then lastly, to me, is being inspirational is my third eye. Like if I show up and I'm not in a great place or whatever, I'm not going to drive good team behavior. I'm not going to drive good collaboration with my peers. And so coming in every day, trying to make sure that I'm like, am I someone that people want to work with
How do
today?
you stay inspired?
Yeah. And some days I'm not. Like some days I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
it all depends. But I'd say most of the time it's a mentality of I've got to show up like with that we can win and we can do better than anybody else because I'm with a company that I know we can.
Yeah.
That's one part about being at Verizon. It's kind of nice. You're kind
Yeah.
of naturally
Market leader.
inspired.
Yeah.
Like every day you're naturally inspired because you're part of this great company with a bunch of great colleagues and they show up and can inspire you as well. But I think it's just part of being a leader. Like ultimately it reflects down into how your team reacts is how you show up and like that ability to drive the art of the possible with a large organization. And it's something I take very seriously as a leader.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tremendous platform because you're not just bringing data in the household, you're bringing entertainment, connectivity, financial prosperity, all the things that people feel like they need for their happiness. Ultimately,
For sure.
like when your internet is out, it's like you feel like that you've gone back 100 years. It's like it's almost worse than not having water or electricity in the house
Right.
sometimes,
When
right?
we say like live, work, and play,
Right.
I mean, the only thing we kind of don't help with, and we probably help with a little bit of that is sleep.
Right.
Like I guess it's kind of how you live, like, and frankly, how you eat. I wouldn't eat if I didn't have my phone based on my Uber Eats and Seamless subscriptions.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
as a New Yorker, you know those very well.
Yes. And also the other thing about Verizon, I just think it must be fascinating is the companies you work with every day. You
Every
talked about Netflix and you work with Google and you work with Apple and all these incredible companies and you get to see their product roadmap and
Oh,
what
yeah.
is important to them and their device doesn't work without you. And that just must be really cool because it keeps it interesting every day.
Yeah, I think that we are very lucky to work with literally the best companies in the world
Yeah.
as our partners, whether they're creative content with all of our, the content industry and creating some of the best shows that we love, and some of them are on the same companies, meeting with Apple today, talking about, the shows that we all love on Apple TV Plus right now or
Yeah.
with Paramount or with anybody. And I think about like, we get that opportunity to see that creative and then the technology creative, what's coming. And I have to be careful sometimes. I'm in some of these meetings and I'm getting really excited about what I can talk about and what I can't talk about yet because it's not out. We do, when I think about what Verizon does uniquely for these companies is there is no Apple without the network that Verizon has built.
Yep.
Like the capabilities that we built that allowed the technology to be built on that hardware without the network, there wouldn't have been the app stores. There wouldn't have been all that. And so the underlying power of what makes all of these phones such amazing gadgets is what we do at Verizon,
Of course.
which connect it all. And that's the foundation. And the foundation is what we do. And we do it better than I think anybody else. But the other part of that is then we also bring customer differentiation with what we bring to them because of our ability to partner
And understand
with
their
people
needs.
that do it. Yeah, the companies that do it the best, and that's what my job is. Like
Yeah.
I always think of we're the tip of the spear. We've got the why Verizon, which is kind of our value props on our core network experiences. We got the why now, some of the promotions that we do and the partner with our OEMs, and then why more as we get more into our family services, the credit card, all these perks that we can provide. There's just so much breadth that we bring to the table. And I'm lucky that my team, is the tip of the spear for all of it.
Awesome. Anything new or interesting that you can talk about that Verizon's working on for 2025?
I think you'll see us really double down in like our home broadband.
Yeah.
We've had a really good momentum in 2024. You're going to see us really continue that as we look forward to our phone growth business. I think that's exciting. Nothing specific that I'm going to put out there, but I would say what I teased before with mobile and home. The convergence is quite different in the U.S. than it is in other markets in the globe. We think it's going to grow a lot in the U.S., but we're going to be one that are driving that. Now that we have a broader home broadband footprint, how do we get more people that can unlock additional value because they have mobile and home with us? And you'll see us focus a lot across the company on loyalty and really delighting our customers in every aspect, making those flawless experiences. So those are not necessarily the products and services and all that new, but ultimately what we want is the customers every day when they have an interaction with us. It's like, I love Verizon and I will tell everybody about it. And we know we're getting it right when everything just works. And we're spending a lot of time and money across the company focused on how do we take every pain point that we might have and make it go away.
It's awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us. As you might remember, we wrap up every podcast by asking if there's a quote or mantra that comes to mind that guides your professional journey. So I'd love to know what comes to mind for you.
One that comes to mind from when I was in college. So if you're young out there, someone once told me the people that know how will always work for the people that know why.
That's awesome. I've never heard that before, but I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to think about, do I know why we're doing this? Do I know why people do how is it really important to understand, but ultimately to be a leader, you got to know why. And I think that's a quote that stuck with me on how I think about every role I'm in. What's the why?
Yeah, well, that's where the purpose and the passion and all the good stuff lives.
That's right.
Right? And that's what keeps us motivated every day. Thank you so much for joining on behalf of Suzy and I with team. Thanks again to Angie Klein, SVP of Consumer Growth and Marketing and Content at Verizon, for joining us here live at CES in Las Vegas. Be sure to subscribe, rate, review to Speed of Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Till next time, see you soon, everyone. Take care. The Speed of Culture is brought to you by Suzy as part of the Adweek Podcast Network and A-Guest Creator Network. You can listen and subscribe to all Adweek's podcasts by visiting adweek.com/podcasts. To find out more about Suzy, head to Suzy.com. And make sure to search for The Speed of Culture in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Click follow so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Suzy, thanks for listening.